Light is all around us. From the morning's first rays of sun to the waning glow of a crescent moon. From the torches of our ancestors to the glowing screens of our mobile devices, light is our guide, our timekeeper, and our guardian. Light shows us where to go and how to move. It teaches us how the world works and how to react. It helps us comprehend our reality. It lets us see. And there's nowhere where this is more apparent than when you're at a concert, listening to your favorite band, and the lighting designer is firing on all cylinders.
Welcome to episode 9 of the Lightside Podcast. I'm your host, Luke Stratton, and my guest this episode is LD Joel Reiff. Joel and I were both at the Download Festival in the UK last summer. Joel was there with Godsmack, and I was there with Smashing Pumpkins, and we realized we both lived in Denver, decided we'd meet up and talk a little shop. Joel is one of the nicest and most humble LDs I have ever met, and that coupled with a extensive resume. He is a veteran of the field, might I dare say, a legend. No matter how epic the tale of Mr. Reiff may be, he had a ton of insight to share with me, and we did a couple cool deep dives into some of the clients he's worked for. I think you guys are really going to like this episode. But of course, a few announcements first. We recorded this episode a few days before GrandMA 3 version 1.0 dropped, so don't be confused by our conversation a little later. MA3 is here. It is very awesome. It's got some things missing for us here at the Lightside, so the command keyboard and the LPC MIDI software stuff is coming, but it's not quite ready yet, so if you're waiting on those products, just stay tuned. In other news, we are very excited to announce that the Lightside is officially a German Light Products dealer. I own some X4Ss. I use them all the time with Dopapod, and I've had GLP stuff out on every tour I've done over the past few years, especially the X4 bars. We had a ton of them out with Smashing Pumpkins. I had them out on my Motet Red Rock show, Thievery Corporation, the past 2 tours. These guys make amazing fixtures, so we are very happy to be able to represent them. So if you're in North America and in the market for GLP, or any MA, Aeroton, Claypaky, or Martin gear, shoot us an email at info@thelightside.net or give us a ring at 720-593-2395 for a quote today. In other news, our Facebook group is up and running. It's for working LDs and lighting enthusiasts alike. You can chat about the podcast, ask questions, get advice from other industry pros, show off your zip tie collection, or even share pictures of your work. The group is simply called The Lightside, and you can get there directly via facebook.com/groups/lightsidegroup. But keep in mind that this is not everything stage lighting. If you act like a troll, you will be treated as such and be banished. So, yeah. As always, there are no annoying ads on this podcast, other than the shameless plugs that I just spit at you, of course. So if you'd like to help contribute to the creation of more episodes of the Lightside podcast, you can head over to patreon.com/thelightside and pledge a few bucks an episode or whatever you see fit. Okay, so without further ado, here's my interview with Joel Reiff. All right, well, welcome to the Lightside. My guest today is Joel Reiff. Joel, your resume is insane, I have to say.
I paid dearly for it.
I don't even know where to start. I mean, I'm just going to, maybe we'll edit this in later, but I mean, going backwards, Godsmack, Alice Cooper, Jason Mraz, Avril Lavigne, 50 Cent, Crosby, Stills, Nash Young, Korn, Audioslave, Beck, Bob Dylan, Matchbox 20, and Live. I left a few out. I mean...
Yeah, well, that's okay.
Yeah, I think I want to... I mean, I have so many questions for you, but I want to start at the beginning.
Okay.
You know, how did you... As a kid, were you into lighting? How did you get into were you into theater or bands? What's your entry path into lighting design?
It's interesting. I was into music, like a lot of kids of my generation, and would listen to music and wanted to be a part of it. But I was never a player, so I kind of wanted to be a sound guy initially.
Okay.
So I actually went to one of those recording workshops in Chillicothe, Ohio.
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah,
I'm from Columbus, so
there you go.
I considered going there. Yeah,
and I went there, and I learned how to do things, but not really how to do things. You learn the technical bits, but you don't know. Something starts feeding back. You can't sit there and go, well, that means that. You got to get the experience just your hand just knows. So. I luckily got hooked up with a band locally in Washington, D.C. area where I grew up. And there was a sound guy that would help train. They needed a sound guy, and they had a friend that would train, and he was great.
So he would help the band out and took you under his wing.
He did. He brought me to a couple gigs and showed me what to do. And, he really mentored me on sound.
Sure.
So I did that for a while, and then I went to college, and I went to college first, of course. I got out and started to do the music thing with this band. And, the thing where you kind of play all night and then you have to wake up an hour later in the morning to go to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
keeping a regular job. But,
yeah. Well, I had to eat. So, but eventually I said, hey, I'm going to go for it. I quit my job. I borrowed money and bought a sound system and went to Richmond, Virginia. And I was working with a band and a lot of peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
A lot of ramen noodles. A
lot of pizza. Yeah. If you're lucky.
Yeah. A lot of, I think the thing I said the most was, are you going to eat that?
Yeah.
Was probably my most,
Yeah. So
my
scraping by. So you went to college, finished college, and then kind of went.
Not for theater. I was in finance.
Sure.
Of all things.
Sure.
And I moved to Virginia and Richmond and was kicking around doing sound for a bunch of years.
Yeah.
And I started working at this club called Rockets, which was the local club that bands would either go through if they're on the way up or on their way down.
This is in Richmond.
Yeah. Kind of like the one-hit wonders would just play there and that kind of stuff. So I was this house guy, and everyone always had their own sound man. So, you'd set them up, and they'd say, well, can you do lights? How hard can it be? We only have 8 of them.
Yeah.
It was that kind of thing. So you have 4 colors, and you're like, sure, I can do that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it all started.
Oh, nice. So, give you a time frame here so we know what kind of gear we're picturing.
Right. We're talking park hands. This is like 1985.
Okay.
Or 4 or 5. Yeah.
Okay.
And I started doing lights and sound, just both, wherever they needed me. And then I had my band locally that I was working with, and I would do the Keith Emerson impression where you're doing lights with one hand and sound with the other.
I was doing that this weekend. Yeah, I know it very well.
Yeah, so doing all that for a bit. And I can actually remember the moment of becoming a real lighting guy, because there was a band called the DBs, which was one of the hit bands in the 80s. And I knew one of the guys, and their manager was doing lights, and he was terrible. You can even tell then. And there was one song I really liked that they did, and I said, hey, do you mind if I just do lights for this song? He's like, yeah, sure. And all I did was hit the accents, and, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, that was great. Can you go out of New Orleans with us for Mardi Gras?
Yeah.
And there we go.
Oh, that was it, man. You were out on tour.
Yeah.
Okay, so when did that transition into, was it just a slow grow to working for, top level bands?
It was. Because from that, I ended up getting a job with a band called the Hoodoo Gurus, which was an Australian band that was, again, up and coming at the time. I don't think they ever quite made it, but but we did the world for the most part.
Oh, nice.
Though not Australia. It was always weird.
But ironic.
Yeah, ironic. Right. But I learned a lot. I was really green, but I learned a lot. I had a great time. It's still like, driving vans and, they're in a bus or something like that. But I still wasn't in a bus. But I just started picking up jobs.
Yeah. And then one thing led to another, and then one day, what you think is Live the first big break you had, or was there a few more before that?
I think there was a guy named Steve Earle, and he was kind of big in Canada, and I got that, and I did that for a couple years, like 3 years, and it wasn't that big in the States, but we toured nonstop.
Yeah, okay.
So that was pretty cool, and I thought that was pretty big, and then from there, I guess I kicked around until Live Live was the first. Live was the breakthrough for me, lighting wise.
Sure. Now, would you say that's the kind of thing where you kind of caught on with them as they were coming up, and that helped you be all of a sudden in this huge band, or did they hire you after the fact?
What's funny is I got them as a sound guy. My buddy was tour managing them, and he knew I wanted to get back into sound, and they needed a sound guy for their first album, and they were just buzzing. And so I did that, and that's where we were talking before we started this, where I was doing everything. So I start by doing sound, then I'm doing production and sound, then I'm doing, lighting, because they didn't want to hire a lighting guy. And next thing you know, it's like the four of them, me and one other guy, their guitar tech. And we just did all kinds of stuff. And after a certain point, I got burned out in sound, and we ended up hiring a good friend of mine, a good soundman named Monty Lee Wilkes, and I moved strictly to lights, and that's kind of where it all took off.
Nice. So when you say you got burnt out on sound, would you say was it like a creative drain on you? Like it just wasn't creative enough? Like what about lighting latched on for you more than audio?
Well, I think I guess I just gravitated towards the visual aspect of it. I did enjoy the sound, but I think I burned out with them because they were fun to mix, but there were a lot of things that I just couldn't get past. For example, the guitar player had so much stuff on his guitar. I would tell them, "You sure that thing's in phase? It really sounds like it's out of phase." No. I got this real expensive rig and blah, blah, blah. And 6 months later, after jerking around with it, they walk up and go, "You're not going to believe this. My guitar rig's out of phase."
Duh.
Yeah. And so, it was kind of like being a parent.
Yeah.
You know how a kid
I know.
can't listen to their parents, but if someone else tells them that.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. More than you know. But and with lighting, you're kind of, especially the band's on stage, they're not watching the show.
Right.
Like you're kind of in your own world, get to go wild. Yeah.
It's funny because you probably know this. Almost everyone has an opinion on sound.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, I'll say, don't get lights. They don't understand it.
Yeah. They're like,
so they leave you alone. Yeah.
Or do you have lasers up there? No lasers.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so then what happens after that? I mean, like, I think that the thing that intrigues me most about your career is how many artists you've worked for. So I was like, can you elaborate on how it is for you to move from artist to artist, and what skills you've learned, like, interfacing with those artists, and I just maybe talk about that for a while.
Okay. Well, going from artist to artist, I'd rather stick with one, but they stop working.
Yeah.
And I've never worked for a company as far as being an employee. So it's not like when I stop touring, I get to go back and go, well, I'll just go in the shop and work in there for a couple of months. I got to find another job.
Another tour, yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of facilitated having to move from act to act, because back then it was album cycles.
Sure.
Right.
So when album cycle's done, you're off the road and you're out of work as a lighting guy.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have to find someone else on their next cycle. And then possibly when my last act was ready, I was in the middle of something.
Yeah. So they have to find somebody different.
Right.
Yeah. I kind of figured this out on Pumpkins because their crew changes every tour. And I'm like a veteran on this tour now. Right. And I realized, because in that, like, I come from jam band world where, like, the crew they're on salary and the band plays a jillion shows a year and they have to have the same guys or else the band doesn't know what to do.
Right.
But this is just such a different world. So, like, how do you attract new clients? Is it mostly other guys in the industry, or do they know your work? Like, how does that work for you?
I guess it's word of mouth. I mean, I still to this day, I try to call the people I know or write the people I know and just say, hey, I'm home. I'm looking for a gig. If you hear anything, and it's you hear things and people, and you get lucky too. You might happen to call someone just when they go, oh, I just got off the phone with someone that needs an LD. It's just timing sometimes. Yeah,
that makes sense. You're always playing the game, I guess. My brother does kind of the same thing. He's in Hollywood, and it's people forget you're available until you let them know.
Right. You happen to see him at lunch or something, and next thing you know, like, I was thinking about you.
Then you're in another country the month after that, programming a tour. Yeah.
It is one phone call, right?
Yeah, that's definitely how it works. So when you get the call, album cycle's coming up, or so-and-so is going back out for a tour, what's your design process like? How does it start? Do you like to sketch on paper? Do you use computer programs?
Well, in the past, I was the old sketch on paper guy.
Yeah.
I was It's pretty cliche. Go to the bar and just line them up. Just sit there and, but that's, when I wasn't really, I think that's in the beginning, early stages. Yeah. When it's par cans, you're drawing all these circles on a big sheet of paper. Mm-hmm. But as it went, process, it's funny. It sounds so artsy.
Yeah. Highfalutin.
Yeah, so highfalutin. Yeah. Honestly, I just listen to the music and just try to immerse myself in it.
Yeah.
Till I can feel it, I guess you'll say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Because you can listen to it, and I used to try to script it out too on paper.
Yeah.
Because then I can go back to the script when I'm actually programming. Mm-hmm. But then it also helps me kind of get a feel for the flow of it.
Sure.
And really just kind of, I'm kind of like a music guy a guy that loves music that just happens to know how to do lights.
Yeah, sure. So you're able to kind of listen to the band and get into their idea, and that could even help you come up with rig ideas. It's not just, what color it is.
Sure. I mean, and again, this too, it runs the gamut. You have some artists that say, I want this to be this to be that. Mm-hmm. And you're like, cool.
Yeah.
It's your show, whatever you want, man. And you got others that are like, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Just do what hopefully they've hired you because they've heard that you're good, or they trust you, so that they let you do what, you think would fit. And I like to try to talk to them and say, I don't ask them how it looks, because obviously they don't know.
Yeah.
But I always say, how's it feel up there? Does it feel good?
Yeah.
Does it feel like, I'm kind of, in the groove you guys are? Because that's kind of really what they can feel.
Yes.
I think they can go, yeah, I noticed that one thing. It was yellow or something. And I think that's an Amber song. Like, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Done.
Well, you wrote it.
Yeah. So you don't have any entitlement when it comes to, no, this is the look for the song.
Not at all.
Yeah.
That's so funny, because to me, it's not my show. I think when I was younger, maybe I might have had the ego to go, well, it's my show and I want to, I could care less about that.
Yeah.
I want it to be good, but I just want it to be what the artist, if the artist is happy and the audience is happy, then, and no one threw anything at me, I think I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah, sure.
So really, it's just their show. It's just doing what they want. You do it too. So you get off on it and you try to do things your way.
Of course.
Yeah.
But I feel like you have a benefit there, that if you're serving somebody else's needs, you're not living in such a small, selfish world.
Right. It's paint by numbers. We get to choose the color.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not like you're not putting in a bunch of crazy strobes in a ballad. Like you got to follow the music.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there are some lighting guys that, and I've had arguments with them, friendly ones, that I had one guy, I remember, he said, I can make the drummer go as fast as I want him to.
What?
Yeah, seriously. By his tapping one light, I guess probably his drum light or something. He could make him go fast. And I'm like, that's like the tail wagging the dog. I tend to follow the drummer.
Yeah, absolutely.
But different strokes, hey.
Of course. Okay, so how about some gear? I know we're both MA guys now, but before that, I mean, coming in the 80s, what are some of your memories of early consoles and technologies that really kind of shaped your path?
I remember the Selco Gold. Remember that one?
Oh, I don't. No, I started on MA. So
okay, it was just a conventional console, and they had Avos too that were. I think the Pearl's been around before Columbus, sailed to America, because that thing's been around forever.
Yeah, it sure has.
But I didn't really program much until I wasn't a programmer, honestly, until 97. I think I started programming moving lights. So I had other people doing it for me.
Okay.
And it was cool, I guess, to kind of say, no, make it do that. But it got to the point where I was explaining so much, and then I started learning about it, and I said, I need to learn how to do it myself.
Yeah.
So that's and I started on a Hog 2.
Mm-hmm. Hog 2, and then did you like the Hog 2? Or?
I did back then. I mean, it was pretty cool. A lot of people loved it, and then they kind of blew it when they came out with the next one. Everyone hated it.
Yeah. And that was at MA1 time for you?
Kind of MA1 time, yeah.
And the rest is history?
The rest is kind of, I mean, I'm open to other consoles. In fact, I hopefully have a gig coming up where I'm going to work on a Hog 4 for a week. But they said that, we'll get you one. She can play on it. I said, great.
Yeah.
Can't be that different, right?
Yeah, sure. Might be like hanging out with an old fling,
Right. To me, it's just, I don't argue the thing of like, oh, that's the greatest console, that's the great console. Whatever works for you.
Yeah.
You know, they're just tools.
But if you're building the toolbox, it's an MA at the moment.
MA2, sure.
So have you checked out the 3 at all?
I have.
Yeah, you were just at LDI, right?
I was. And I didn't go to the MA booth.
Oh, really? Why not?
You know, I know the question that everyone's going to ask them. Why isn't the 3 software ready?
Yeah,
you know?
Well,
I mean, and the other big question everyone at LDI was asking each other was like, okay, so you've got a 3. Do you stay with the 2, or do you go with the 3 on 2 software and learn the new muscle memory for your hands?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you saw I had a 3 for Pumpkins, and it took a while to get used to it, but
yeah,
I think the real thing is going to be when the software comes out. You know,
yeah, it's still way behind though.
It's still behind. Yeah. But you know, having not checked it out, are you excited for that down the road? Or are you like, I've got the good enough tools as it is. I'll take it when it's ready.
Both. I'm a little apprehensive, obviously. When you moved 1 to 2, it was like, oh my God, I'm a little scared of this.
Yeah.
But the next thing you know, you're like, oh, I'm loving this.
Yeah, sure.
I can't believe I ever used the 1.
Yeah, what do you remember what were some of the things in the 2 that really were like, oh man, I can't believe we used to not have that?
That's funny. It's a great question. I'm trying to think. You know, because you're so used to it now.
Yeah, I know.
I'm trying to think like what.
I think if we pulled out a 1 and loaded a whole file, you'd be like, oh man, I can't believe I don't even remember what we can do.
I know. Me neither. I mean, I know they changed the effects engine a lot.
Oh yeah,
I remember that, and I remember at first I was like, but
or just even like number of. I know that when you like open up the executor options, just the number of things that you can do. You know,
I remember not liking how they remember they used to have the center with all the buttons.
Tons of buttons. Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, sure.
Even though you couldn't mark, even though you had to put tape, to mark what your favorites were.
Yeah, sure.
I still kind of dug that.
I mean, buttons are fun, man.
Yeah,
buttons are real fun. Yeah, at least in the 3, you'll be able to use. You know, you got those buttons above and below the faders. Yeah. The ones above will be able to be different than the ones below now.
Right.
So
and remember how hard it was to get used to that in the 2? Because you remember you're thinking, wait, this is a new bank. This is not part of that. Oh, okay.
So I guess now you're going to be able to customize it at least.
Right.
So that should be cool.
But they didn't have push to erect on the second one, and that was just fun. They didn't have Space Invader thing.
I know. There's no games on there.
Yeah, I mean.
And now they've gotten rid of the motorized screen. It's like, we're working backwards, guys.
Right. And on the thing on the 3 that, and see if you agree, there's no master.
Yeah, it's a knob.
Soft.
I guess you can. The argument is you can always make one of the other faders the master, but who wants to give up one of their faders?
I know. And right next to the other ones, it's like, no, it's exactly master's over here.
I mean, I will say those guys at MA are wizards. So,
they are.
I mean, if they think it's a good idea, I'll at least try it out before I knock it.
They know a lot more than we do.
Oh yeah, those guys are crazy. Yeah. Okay, so how about, do you have any favorite, like, who were your influences growing up? Other guys that you look to for inspiration, both in and out of the lighting community, maybe?
You know, it's funny. My wife asked me the other day if I ever had a mentor, and I never really did because I never worked for a company. I never was like a second, third, whatever on a tour.
Yeah.
But I mean, I saw a lot of things that were great. I mean, obviously the big names. I saw Prince tour in '85 or something, and that's Roy Bennett. And, the Stones, you'd see Patrick Woodruff.
Yeah. Have you worked with Roy?
I did once a long time ago.
Yeah.
It was great. I had a good time with that.
Sure.
I was with Live, actually. He designed like the set on the 97 tour.
Okay. And you did some stuff with Paul Normandale, right?
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
I loved him.
Yeah.
I love Butch Allen.
Mm-hmm.
I think he does amazing work. I learned a lot from Butch. I've done a couple things with him. And every time I get a chance, I learn something.
Yeah, sure.
It's great. And I like his designs too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like where he's coming from. So yeah, and Paul was great.
Yeah, I got to meet Paul we were at Light Alt pre-visiting.
Oh, okay. It's somewhere in the UK, but it's not like a normal town.
Yeah, right? No, I forget. It was kind of near Manchester, I think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
but I went from the warehouse to the hotel.
Right.
That's the only thing I saw. But
right. We went to a football game actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because it was a walking distance from the little hotel there.
What tours have you worked with him on?
It was Jason Mraz.
Oh, Jason Mraz,
and he designed it, and he was great. I mean,
yeah.
He gave you a lot of free room, leeway, whatever you want to call it, to do stuff. But he also goes, you do stuff, he'd say, yeah, I like that, I don't like that, and change that one to blue.
Yeah,
you know,
gotcha.
you'd be like,
Yeah.
okay, you know,
Yeah.
he was a blast.
Well, with that in mind, can we maybe talk about this whole? I mean, I feel like in the industry there are 2 or 3 real core roles. You've got the designer,
Right.
and then director, and then sometimes there's an operator, depending on how much creative control
Right.
is involved there. Can you talk about your experience in those roles? Which ones you like? Do you like to do all of them at the same time, or do you like working with the designer, or being the designer and sending a director?
I like running the show, so I guess I like being the director.
Okay.
Designing is I don't look at that as one of my strongest points.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can have ideas with it, but some of the things that these other guys are doing, you know, I'm like, oh wow, what a great idea.
Are you saying, when you say designing, are you referring to more of the rig itself, or like what color a song is? Like when you
The rig itself.
The rig
I'd say.
itself,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I can choose, you know, like anyone, I can choose fixtures.
Sure.
And I can place them in places, but I like Paul Normandale was a great example. He had these these clusters of 4 of all these auras, and basically I just kind of played and got some great stuff out of them. But
Yeah.
it was his design.
But it was not, the idea was not one that you would have come up with. Is what you're saying.
Probably not. No.
Yeah.
But when he had them, and he's like, okay, we'll do something with that. Okay. And Butch Allen was another one. He had like some of the stuff on a Jason Mraz thing. He's like, and he told me, he said, play with these for a day.
Yeah.
And you're going to get stuff that you love.
Yeah.
And he was right. So I think I like being the director because you don't design per se, but you do make a lot of choices
Oh, absolutely.
on color, on feel, on.
Yeah. Well, and depending on the band, you know, you're the one clicking the buttons in
Right.
time, you know. I mean, if it's time coded, that's one thing, but
Right.
I suspect most of the artists you work for are not time coded.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah.
And, you know, if you're going up there to smash through a bunch of metal hits, you got to know the
Right.
songs, and, you know, picking when to hit the button is half the battle, you know.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, with that in mind, what are some of the designs that you've done that you think have been successful, and what are maybe some that weren't so successful?
You know, we had some fun ones with live.
Yeah.
But that was largely, it was a big par cans with a lot of par cans with some movers.
Yeah.
I mean, we had scans, you know, the Clay Packy
Yeah.
scans, and those were fun. And those were still really fun shows. Designs I've done that I really liked. It's funny. I can't think of many because a lot of my quote, and I'm putting my hands up in quotation marks,
Yeah.
my designs have just been, well, we don't have a lot of money. We can't really afford a set. We just kind of want you to throw some lights in a configuration, and, you know, that's the design. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll put them lights in these places and do this and do that, and that's the design. Cool.
Yeah.
You know, come with a drop or with, I mean, I have ideas, and I've pitched ideas and been turned down.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the process.
That's part of the process. I remember pitched Avril Lavigne with one, and you know, she didn't go for it, and then, you know, but they ended up going with Butch Allen, so that was brilliant.
So you get to work with, and you were the director for that.
Yeah.
So you get to work with a guy that you respect.
Yeah,
He comes with a creative idea, and then would you say that was kind of a collaboration, or is he handing off a directive to you?
You know, I don't want to say, I want to say it's a collaboration, but I think it's only because you might, me or whatever LD he's got, if you're doing stuff enough that they're like, okay, I like what you're doing.
Yeah.
But then if you start doing something that they don't like, they'll say, no, don't do that. I'd rather you do this. And I'm fine with that.
Sure.
So I think it's a collaboration in the sense that of any guy that's on the console with the designer, unless they're totally like, just, you will do this.
Yeah.
You know, and I've been lucky that I really haven't had a lot of that.
Sure. Well, I suspect that you probably get hired when they need someone they trust to run it.
Well, hopefully. And some of the bands, like with Jason Mraz, they wanted me to run it, but they didn't want me to design it. Because if they didn't like it, they would fire their designer.
Oh, they just want a new direction.
Right. But since I'm still working with them, though they never go out, you know, it was fun. I mean, that's where we got Paul Normandale, and we had Butch, and you know, they came up with this great stuff, and they don't have to be mad at me if it's too expensive, or if they don't like something, or if they want, and then they can, Joel, just, you know, you do your thing.
Sure.
And, you know, and Butch will, you know, we'll talk to Butch if we don't like this or don't like that or anything.
Yeah,
and then we're on the road, they'll say something.
Yeah.
But I've been fortunate in that, like Paul and Butch and you know, some of the others have been really cool with like letting me do some of my own stuff, because I don't want to change what they're doing. I just want to make what they've presented, I hope, the best version of it.
So on a lot of these rigs, are there big video elements that you're
sometimes,
and you're working with another video team to integrate that?
Sometimes. I mean, there's been ones where they do a big video team, and I don't always agree with what they have up there, so that's funny. Yeah. But like with other things, with the Hollywood Vampires, for example,
and that's the Alice Cooper, like
Joe Perry and Johnny Depp thing.
Yeah, super project.
Me and Dave Davidian, another, you know, old time lighting designer that was huge. I mean, he was Bon Jovi and Van Halen in the day. Then he moved over to video, and he was doing Rush, and he's a great video director, because we were doing Frampton together. He got me that gig, and when he would direct and I had the control over whether I wanted to put it up live on the screen, oh man,
yeah,
you would be putting up the live stuff because he cuts so well.
Yeah, great.
And you didn't even notice it until someone bad did it or someone else was doing it. You're going, I can't use this. I'm not gonna,
what are you doing?
Do that. Yeah. But with Dave, it was like, oh man, you just got such great stuff. So, like with the Vampires, I digress. It was Dave and I with no budget, so we just kind of just fly by night. The same with the Avril Lavigne thing. Dave and I did it with no budget.
Yeah.
So I had to be my own video guy, so I kind of had to hate myself, I guess.
Well, you can always just turn it off when it's just you, you know?
Right.
I kind of have a thing where it depends on the tour, but sometimes there's like, when there's too many cooks.
Right.
Like someone needs to be a head chef,
right?
You know? And you go to these tours where there's like a laser guy and a video guy and a light guy, and they're all trying to like get there.
Right.
It's like,
right.
Need some, so you got to have that. You got to have that fader, in my opinion.
Right,
you know?
Right. It is nice when you can say, you know, I don't want video on this.
Yeah, of course. And, you know, and maybe this is a video song instead. And you know, hang out for a minute.
But it's even greater, I think, when you have a video guy that's totally in sync.
Oh, of course.
I mean, it's rare, but
yeah, that's the dream, right?
Yeah.
So the design process.
Yes.
When you are designing, or when you're just prepping a show in general, what are the tools that you like to use? Are you like a Vectorworks? I know we were both using WYSIWYG at a download.
I used to be a Vectorworks guy. I haven't been lately, and I'm kind of looking around for a new, program. But I was Vectorworks, and that's kind of what I used.
Yeah.
And my wife did Cinema 3D for a while, so she helped me with some stuff.
Yeah.
That was a while back.
Yeah, we did it. A lot of the Pumpkins, like renders, the artistic renders before it came to me.
Okay.
They did all that in Cinema.
Okay, yeah, and I have some friends that have really hooked me up. Like a friend named Chris Towsey that does renderings. He's hooked me up a number of times. Just with, putting my napkins into reality.
Sure.
my drawn napkins into a computer program.
Well, that's always nice having a friend like that.
Yeah.
I wonder if we might do a couple deep dives here, and I've got a couple here I want to ask about. But if you have some others that you might think might qualify for this, I'd be curious to hear about it.
Okay.
So like, let's say for example, 50 Cent. That seems kind of like a pretty different for you compared to the rest of the resume. What was it like? Like, how did you get that gig? What was it like? Do you have any war stories?
Yeah. That's a good one. My friend Alex Scourin, an excellent LD, he gave it to me for a while. He still does it, and I would fill in for him when he's not around. But like about 14 months, I did it for a while.
Yeah.
I guess Alex was out doing something like Fogarty or something, but Alex wasn't available. So, a lot of good war stories from that one. I mean, we played Nigeria.
Oh, yeah.
And the whole block went out, and then the riot starts,
No.
And we're just running to get to a car so we can get out of there.
Yeah,
Sure. I just run to stage, grab up one of the playbacks, and I remember I was in the car with I think with Yayo, one of G Unit. He's like, "Man, I don't know what happened. All I saw was Joel with his headlight and a playback running across the field of the car. That's all I saw."
Yeah. Well, so what was that tour like to run musically?
It was different for me, but I think and again, you'll probably agree with this. You find something in every bit of music, and if you don't like the music,
sure.
And when you start, you find things just to grab onto and have fun with.
Yeah.
And so with 50, it was just a groove. I just kind of grooved to it.
Do you remember what the gear was like?
It really ran the gamut because with us, there'd be times where we were just fly by night,
just
whatever was
walking
there.
into it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was another one where they brought me in. I remember I was walking my dogs and I would get a phone call and they said, "Can you be in Athens tomorrow?" I said, "Georgia?" He said, "No, Greece." I said, "Yeah, I kind of thought." They had brought their old LD back and he couldn't deal with the huge rig.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I had to fly in and jump in on that. And
Oh,
it was Xbox and, Versatubes and all these lights and, I came there and there was nothing in there. So you're like pulling your hair out and choosing video backstage going, yeah, okay, we'll use this for this. I don't know, we'll fix it later.
Yeah.
Just trying to make the show happen.
Yeah. And is that a tour where the artist is involved in the visual look or not at all?
Not too much.
Yeah.
Ever so often 50 would call us into the dressing room and, he'd call me and ask me some things
Sure.
or tell me something. There was one time he rapped at me and that scared me.
Yeah.
He was playing the new tracks. And he starts rapping at me.
Yeah.
To try to get me to feel that. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm good. I just
like
want to leave.
somehow that will convey the lighting look to you.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm very uncomfortable here.
Yeah.
But it was all fine. He was very, I think by the time I got there, he was very much a businessman.
Sure.
Sure.
How about Audioslave?
That was a cool tour. Yeah.
I saw that you were up for an award for it.
Oh, was I?
Right. I mean, you said that on your thing here.
Oh, cool. I should read my own resume.
Yeah.
That was a blast. I think I got that through my friend Chris Kanzi.
Oh, yeah. That's Chris is how we got reintroduced because
Right.
Chris was the PM on Pumpkins.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris is great. I met Chris when he was a guitar tech. That's great.
Nice.
Yeah. But he's one of my favorite production managers. Him and Jimmy Pettinato. Love those guys.
Yeah. We had a great tour this last year.
Oh, man. He's the best.
Yeah. He's the funny thing. A side story about Chris. We would go to these festivals. We did like 10 festivals this summer, and like him in the kind of catering area, it's like he's like a band member. Like people like want to come up and talk to him. Like
right.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, Audioslave.
Yeah. That was a really cool tour, and so I liked working with. I'd worked with Tom Morello before because one thing I'm not good at is picking the next big thing.
Okay.
So I mean, for example, when I was with Soul Asylum, we had an opening act called Radiohead.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I think I might have heard of this.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I had heard of them, but they only had the first record out.
Yeah.
With Creep on it. And the Bends hadn't come. Well, it might have been out, but I hadn't heard it.
Yeah, sure.
So, and I was, whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything. I wasn't like, oh, these guys are amazing.
Yeah.
They had all their gear stolen before the first show.
Oh, no.
So they were acoustic for like 2 or 3 weeks. But, I was always friendly with them.
Yeah.
Why not? Right. And, like a month or two after the tour, I heard the Bends went, oh my God.
Okay.
And then of course they exploded.
Yeah, sure.
And then a year later, I'm at a festival. I'm like, yeah, you guys mind if I watch from front of house? Oh yeah, I remember you.
Yeah.
Thank God I'm not an asshole.
Yeah.
That was one. The other was the good one was, I was working with Suicidal Tendencies and we had this opening act. Their first album was just going to come out. Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't go, oh my God, these guys are amazing.
Sure.
I just thought, well, I was friendly with them enough, and I went to a concentration camp with them.
Oh, wow.
Because no one in Suicidal wanted to go.
It was like a day off activity? Yeah.
And no Suicidal wanted to go, or the crew or anything. And guys in Rage said, well, just come on our bus. You can sleep on our bus because we're going.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
So years later, Tom Morello on Audioslave, like 2 weeks in, he's like, I just saw a picture of you I took like 10 years ago. Yeah.
Oh man, he didn't remember that you guys had hooked up before.
Right. Well, I was going to bring it up because Suicide was pretty crappy to him.
Yeah.
Because Suicide was going down.
Yeah.
Rage was going up. So I didn't want to be associated with that because they did treat him really shitty.
Yeah.
Did I say that? Sorry.
Yeah.
They treated him really bad.
This is a internet podcast.
Okay, cool. Yeah, they treated him like crap.
Yeah.
Right. And I was always nice enough to him because again, it's just an opening act. I don't care if they're going to be.
Yeah.
obviously I don't have the picking gene, but
Sure.
you're friendly with people because I've been an opening act millions of times.
Yeah, of course. And you never know, man.
You never. I don't even think of it that way.
I can tell that about you, but still.
Yeah, but like but I have missed so many of these huge acts that ended up becoming enormous, and I never saw it.
Yeah.
So
but I mean, Audioslave wasn't exactly tiny. That must have been,
but the Rage thing was I guess I went on a tangent. But
no, we like
really
tangents.
cool.
Yeah.
And I love working for Tom Morello.
Yeah.
And
he seems like I don't know him, but seems like a smart guy.
I mean, I how it is. What's funny, you know the people when you're on tour with them.
Yeah.
And then 6 months later, you could walk right by them
and not even.
Yeah. But he was great. And it would be funny. I'd get the call from the tour manager. Joel, you need to come to the dressing room right now. Tom's really pissed.
Yeah.
Okay. Show up to the dressing room. You have to knock.
Yeah.
And the tour manager was so controlling. I was like, knock. He'd come out like there's, like something bad's going on in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me go get Tom.
Yeah.
Tom would come out and be like, hey, Tom, how you doing? Hey, Joel, hey, man. Great job, man. How you doing? Feeling good? Cool, man. Hey, on Coach East or whatever it was, I noticed that the backdrop was red. Can you make it yellow in the choruses? That would be it. That's him being pissed. I'm like, yeah, Tom, sure, no problem.
Yeah.
Anything else? No, man, it feels great. Doing a great job. Thanks, man. That was the extent of it.
That's cool.
And then you'd have Chris Cornell, who I met once or twice on the tour, who literally, when they introduced me, he said, hey, how are you? He goes, man, nothing personal, but I could give a fuck about lights.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, he's like, he wasn't a dick. He just was saying the truth. He's like, he doesn't really care about it. It's not. He had 2 comments, I think, the whole tour. That, hey, man, could you do this? I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But really, he just didn't care.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Some people just don't care about lights.
Yeah, yeah. It was kind of funny, I thought, but...
Yeah. How about Avril Lavigne?
Avril, very interesting one, yeah. Because it's funny, I mean, I did 3 tours with her, so it's really kind of funny. And we play weird places, we played China for 3 weeks. She's big in the weirdest places.
Yeah.
I remember we played in Canada, and the sound guy and I, Jim Yakubuski, would always joke about, hey, we're at 40% tonight, as in 40% empty.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Or it usually would be 60 to 80%. Hey, we're at 80 tonight, 80% empty.
Why did he say it backwards like that?
We were both doing it because it just was bombing.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I mean, hers is a really weird deal, I think. She's, how do I put it? She's got her own niche, I guess I'll say. Niche?
It depends on where you are.
And I don't know. I mean, she's I think her brother co-manages her. I think they make some decisions that aren't necessarily the best for her.
Oh, okay.
And I enjoyed working with her because, I mean, she's really shy.
Yeah.
That's the thing about her. She's really, really shy, and I think she knows what she wants. One of those tours was a Butch Allen thing.
Yeah.
And he had a really beautiful set for her, and so I just did what he wanted me to do, which is, again, when you got a guy like Butch too,
Yeah, you don't mind to do it.
Yeah, it's not like someone's saying, I want you to do this, this, and this, and you're thinking to yourself, oh, that's crap.
Yeah.
You're like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, so does that kind of creative inspiration lead?
Definitely.
You take that away with you.
Definitely.
We were saying earlier.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, I've been really lucky with guys that have handed it off to me and said, yeah, you do your own thing. But I'm like, well, thank you, but I'm going to maintain the integrity of what you want me to do.
I think that's probably, I can imagine that's a very desirable trait when these designers are they're happy to have someone who's willing to,
I would guess so. I mean, it could easily replace us, so.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people.
Well, you can easily replace them too, though,
I suppose.
Like you said with Mraz, it's, they get a new designer and you're still there. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been through that with Pumpkins. We've had different designers tour to tour, just, different visions and stuff.
Right.
Different schedules, like you said.
Right. I guess some designers, some people, I guess, might think they have a niche or something like that. But, again, with Butch, I bet, when Mraz went out the next time, I said, we're going to get Butch back. And it's, no, we don't want to hire a designer. We don't want to pay the money. Well, can you just put something together? Again, it was just putting up lights, and we've got a backdrop we want to do, and can you just kind of do stuff?
Are we talking like straight truss and a backdrop?
Because we want to be, we want to be able to play anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, so it's got to go fast. It's got to be wherever we go, we can get it, you know.
Yeah.
So you can't get too, you can't
Vipers and Sharpies.
Trusses. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay, so are there any over your career that are particularly memorable that stick out as either creatively very fun or just a wild ride?
I really loved. I have 3 that I still think stick out. Well, no, I can make it 4, but Jason Mraz is great to work with.
Okay, like you said, you're still with him.
He's still with him. He never plays, but he's so cool because he really cares. By the way, I mean, some artists, you've probably noticed it too. I mean, they do their job, but you know, Jason really cares.
When you say you mean he cares like on the fan level or like on the production level?
Both.
Okay.
Both. I mean, if there was ever anything that he does things different every day.
Yeah.
So maybe he did like an ending of something, and I was like, oh, that was weird for me. I'll go, hey, Jason, do you mind playing this again and sound check? Because it was weird for me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He'll even take you to the dress room with the band room and go, hey, we need to show Joel this because we're doing a new ending, and he needs to hear it so he gets it right.
Yeah.
Whereas most artists are just like, they'll do it and they go, oh, we didn't think to tell you.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks a lot for that. So he's really cool with that.
Yeah.
Jack Johnson was a blast because he's just such a normal guy.
Yeah.
And such a great groove. And I liked Richard Thompson.
Okay.
A really small, not well-known guy, but he was just an amazing player.
Yeah.
And just person. All of us in one bus.
Yeah.
No pretension whatsoever.
Sure.
And I really did enjoy this last Godsmack run. It was a blast.
Yeah. Do you guys have more stuff coming up?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got nothing the rest of the year. They say they're not going back out to the middle of next year. I hope I'm around for it.
And then you're back in the same boat, right? Where
I'm
you're
back
like,
in the same boat.
Can I do it? You know, you're not going to hold it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Where's cloning when you really need it?
I know, man. Believe me, I've tried. How about if we sidestep from the concert side of things? You've done a bunch of work. You sent me that awesome video. What's the artist?
Tatum Lynn.
Yeah. Music videos. You've done some corporate work, some video game stuff, X Games. Talk about how that's different than the concert side of things.
Okay. It's funny. I'd love to do more of that stuff because I just get them randomly.
Yeah. Like, did they come from like just random contacts?
The video came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It was the old manager for Lindsey Sterling when she first came out.
Yeah.
And my friend Joel Wojcik in town turned me on to Lindsey, and that was just a phone call out of the blue. I'm getting the phone call, and it's like, can you do a video? Looking for someone to do a video next week. I'm looking at the number one. I don't know who this is.
Yeah, sure. Was that out in L.A.?
We did it in Phoenix.
Oh, okay.
So that was just random, and then
that's cool video. It's like
it's fun.
Was it magic panels?
Yeah. They wanted to do magic panels.
A wall of magic panels.
Right. And that's what they wanted. They said, we want to do something like this. And
but you plug the name again so people can YouTube it.
Tatum Lynn.
And the name of the video
was Now You See Me.
Yeah. I thought, I don't know if they like turned the saturation up or what, but the color like really pops. Like you guys both did a great job.
Thank you. Thank you. You've done the video things, and a lot of times you get, I don't mean like video shoots, but like videos when it's live.
Yeah.
And how many times where the video people just treat you like crap.
Or just like, dude, that's not yellow.
Right.
That's green. Like, what? I don't understand how they can't have an eye for it.
I know. This was the exact opposite. So I was so shocked. It was like the best video experience I ever had.
Yeah.
These guys were cool. They were, and they were good too, because when I saw the end result, I'm like, wow, they did a great job. But we sat down to do it, and there was no script or anything.
Sure.
And we only had a couple hours because it was totally like last minute, jamming everything in. And it was just like, okay, well, how about this for the start?
Yeah.
And then we just dove in, and we just, all three of us, me, the DP, and the director, or whatever, were just like throwing ideas out. It was a blast. Yeah. And like, if they didn't like something, it wasn't like this, you should not talk, only speak when spoken to. It was totally like, and they'd actually say to you, like, what do you think? What do you think we should do on this part? And you're thinking, My answer is almost like, I can't believe you're asking me that. You're a video guy, really?
Yeah.
Some of the other ones, I can't remember how I got them. I just, I imagine it's word of mouth, and I mean, I did something for the Denver Museum. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, was that because you live near Denver, or not at all?
I think so. I think it must have been, and I really can't remember whoever you are out there. Thank you.
Yeah,
but I don't remember how that came about. And but it was weeks of work. It was really cool.
Yeah,
and that was a time code experience, which was crazy.
Yeah, different for you.
It was. It was. I mean, it was cool. It was very time consuming, but hey, I was getting paid for it, right?
Sure. Yeah. Wait, so what exactly were you lighting? This is the Denver Museum of Science?
Yeah, it was this body tech thing.
Oh, okay.
And they had
like the bodies exhibit?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And it was in there for a while, and it ran every, I don't know, hour, every half hour, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But the thing that took a long time was they had this on the film thing, they had lightning hitting.
Yeah.
And they obviously wanted to make it an immersive experience.
Yeah,
so we had to do the strobe lightning thing exactly to where the time coded. So when she goes, oh, and the lightning strikes in the background. You had, I mean, it'd be like, okay, well, we're 0.43 seconds off.
Yeah.
And you couldn't do it and then start all over. You had to run the whole thing.
Yeah.
So you get so close and you go, okay, well, let's go between 0.015 and 0.018.
Yeah, sure.
0.08. And you just hone it in, but it took a long time.
Yeah, but I imagine that'd be so fun coming from our rock and roll.
Yeah, it was
world.
different. I liked it. It was kind of cool, and you could use some of your rock and roll stuff.
Well, of course, yeah. I mean, that's why they hire you. They like want some of that pizzazz. You know, they don't want to be like all corporate-y, you know.
Yeah, and some of the other stuff, like the Neil Young thing. God, that was a disaster, and it ended up looking okay.
It was a film?
Yeah. We were doing it the place up in the Gorge, right?
Oh,
the Gorge.
Yeah.
And of course it rained. Of course, all the gear was stopped working. Mm-hmm. These huge synchro lights that I had gotten to shine across the gorge, they didn't work.
Yeah.
And it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
And still, they came out with a film. Go figure.
So was it like you're lighting I haven't seen it. So were you lighting a concert event?
Just a show, yeah.
Oh, yeah, but with it being filmed in mind.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was filling in for an old friend of mine, Keith Wismar.
Sure.
Rest in peace. And yeah, it was a cool experience, but even the ones that didn't go well, I guess they can salvage something.
Sure. Well, so aside from it not going well, you know, behind the scenes, what's different about that compared to a normal show?
Well, as you know, you have to always keep the front light on.
You always key light all day.
You have to key light all day. And a lot of the artists don't want that.
Yeah.
But they understand. Jason Mraz is great at that. He knows if it's going to be a shoot or a video, he knows that he's got to have a spotlight on him all the time. And because it looks better on TV. And because a lot of these guys, they don't like spotlights.
Yeah, of course not. Yeah. I'm familiar with that.
Yeah, but if it's going to be broadcast, and you're like, well, you kind of have to, because it'll look better, and
or you'll just be in the dark.
Right.
Right.
And they all wear hats, and you're like, don't wear a hat on the video shoot.
Yeah. And then the synchro lights are with those big like side fill lights to light the crowd.
They're like those lights that are how do you say, like on the old movie opening night, they have the huge lights shooting into the sky.
Oh, yeah. Oh, like a searchlight kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like the bat signal.
Yeah, and exactly. And they're huge.
Yeah. And those didn't even work on that shoot.
No, for some reason, whoever got them there and everything, I don't know how they screwed up, but they dropped the ball big time.
Sure. Okay, so what about like a corporate thing? Like you've got the Pepsi Center thing or like a fashion show. How do you approach that differently?
Well, you know, it's funny. What's the rule number one? Light the talent.
Yep.
There's like 7 rule number ones, but that's one of them.
No, that's definitely one of them. Yeah.
And so that's the same thing. Just make sure it's a clean field for everyone to see.
Yeah.
And you're not doing as much, rock and roll, if you will. You're just making sure that their set is looking good, and their models or whoever are looking good. And if it's a corporate, the Intel thing I did for a couple of years, they had these huge thing in the sky, on the ceiling, and it just kind of ran a bunch of cool stuff through it.
Yeah,
and that's what they love. It's funny because the main guy would come up and. It's funny because the stuff that you've spent all day doing, they don't even notice this really,
Yeah.
And then they go, can you make it like all of a sudden go white? And like, boom. and it goes white. Oh my God, can you do that again? You're like, bam. And oh, can you do that like once every couple hours? And you're thinking, no problem, sir.
Yeah,
yeah. That took all about 7 seconds.
I can imagine that world is,
it's funny.
Yeah. I have zero experience in it, and I got a call once actually from a listener on the podcast. He called me, like, found my number, and he's like, "Hey man, like, I got this. I do these like it was like some news show in L.A.
Okay,
he's like, we need MA guys. Like, you want to come to L.A.?" And I was like, I'm not available, but he basically wanted to pay like crazy rates for me to come just put white light on news guys,
It's funny. People always talk about selling out.
Yeah.
I've been looking to sell out for years. I can't find a buyer.
Yeah, man, I would have done it. I wasn't available, but I was like, I think maybe if I had started there, I'd probably be like, all right, I'm ready for some color,
Right.
But for where I sit, I'm like, dude, that sounds like so cool, like a TV studio with film cameras. Yeah, someday maybe.
And it's funny. A lot of those things, though. A lot of the TV shows I don't even want to go to because they don't want to see you there.
Yeah.
What
do you mean?
Well, I remember a couple of them. Okay, two quickies here. I remember with Live. I remember we did. I think it was Leno or something like that. And you come in and they don't like to see the local guy there.
Yeah,
right? They don't want to see the band's LD usually.
Oh yeah.
So I come in and I know this.
Yeah.
So like, hey guys, just thought I'd check in. Like, hey, why don't you grab some coffee and donuts and come back in an hour. We might have something for you. So, great.
Yeah.
Come back an hour later. Same thing. Hey, can you come back a couple hours later? Coffee, donuts, and we'll have something to show you. So yeah, no problem. Come back the third time. They said, hey, guys, I can't drink any more coffee. I can't eat any more donuts. Whatever you want to do, I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to see it from you. And the other one.
Are you saying that the local guys or the guys working on the show
the union guys,
they're throwing in something and then you're going to approve it as the band's LD?
Somewhat, yeah.
Hopefully that's
I mean, on those TV things, for the most part, that's my experience. They don't want to hear from you. They don't. Sometimes they've got their own script and their own ideas. I had a great one with Live where they were big and they were coming back with their album to follow, the huge one, which is Throwing Copper.
Yeah.
And they were going to be on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
And the first time I did it with them, I mixed, so that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. But the second
time... And they let you mix?
Well, no. Basically, you might see 20 things wrong.
Yeah.
You just pick one or two.
To fix,
Yeah. And
lead vocal down. Yeah.
Right. Or I remember you put it in a way that's like, they like, because I always noticed like on TV things, guitar is never loud enough.
Yeah.
So I just said, hey, the guitar, they like it like stupid loud, like louder than it should be. I don't know. And you go, I don't know why.
I don't know why.
Right. So they do the first song. I call my buddy at home. I'm like, how'd it sound? It actually sounded pretty good. Cool.
Yeah, nice.
Nice. These big speakers in the studio. It's like, why don't we have a TV?
Yeah.
Because that's what everyone else is listening to.
Oh yeah, I've had that many times where you listen to SNL and it's like, dude, what? Turn it up. Why can't you hear that thing?
Yeah. So, but the other one was for SNL. I got banned.
Oh really?
Yeah. The management told me that we want you to go in and do your thing and make it unique. And if they said, okay, but they don't like that, you got to have my back.
Yeah.
So what happens? I go in. I'm trying to tell them everything that I think they should do, and I can't touch the console because I'm not union. And
of course,
we go into the office and the union guy won't even look at me. I put my hand, sir, pleasure to meet you. And he turns his back to me.
Oh no.
Bad start. And we're going through rehearsal and everything he says, he won't say to me. He says to the wall, like, I can't see the set. I said, oh, put light 43 on the set. I know what they need. I know that they need to see the set. I know they need to see blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to do it within their framework. Well, the next day, I get the call from our people that Saturday Night Live thinks you have too much control.
Oh, no.
You've been banned from the studio.
Oh, my God.
So we go in for the show, and I walk to the program and say, hey, man, how you doing? He's like, I'm not allowed to talk to you.
Oh, no.
That's cool. So, I can be there, but I have to stay in the green room.
Yeah.
The whole time. And Chevy Chase is the guest host.
Yeah.
And I'm in the green room the whole time.
Yeah.
And he keeps coming in there. He's like, how come you're always in here? And I tell him the story.
Who are you?
Yeah. And I tell him the story. He's like, man, that's really cool. So for me, it was like, this was a good experience.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And they used my lighting for the first song and not the second.
Yeah,
so there you go.
Yeah.
So it all ended up well, but yeah. So that was my
tricky
band story.
Yeah, tricky waters to navigate at times, you know.
And after that, you just kind of go, I know they don't want me there. I mean, if I can make a comment or two, say, hey, this is what they do.
Yeah.
And you can catch that. Then I've had some good experiences. At shows. We did one with Alice Cooper where the guy was really cool, and I just, if he needed anything, I would tell him.
Sure.
And if he didn't, I just would.
Yeah.
He'd look at me and go, "What do you think about that?" I said, "It's great."
Yeah.
I see Alice.
Yeah.
That's really all I care about.
That's the main. Like you said, light the talent.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'll tell you when the leads are, and if you want me to ride that one fader for that one thing, I'll do it.
Yeah, sure.
He's like, yeah, I don't want to bother. So can you do that? I'm like, yeah, no problem.
Let's touch back again on LDI. I know we touched on it briefly, but what were your experiences this year? Did you see anything that you super really liked? Did you have any good after parties that you went to?
There were some good parties. I got to say the upstaging party was fantastic.
Oh, nice.
Because it's just the drink will flow.
Yeah,
and it's just all these really wonderful people there.
Yeah.
And designers and people in the biz, and a lot of people you haven't seen in years. People whose names but haven't put a face to.
Yeah.
And just even new people. It was just great. It was just geeking out to lighting. You know what I mean?
Well, I think one of the great things about LDI too is we all I never get to meet all the people who that have the same job as me. I never get to work with them because we have the same job.
Right.
So
and there's only one thing worse than two sound guys talking shop, and that's two lighting guys talking shop.
Oh, it's definitely
but it's great for us, right?
Yeah.
So we all just geek out. But I did like the GOP, and I will point out that we were using the GOP LED coasters that when you put your glass down, they light up.
Let's plug this since they took the time to make them for the Highlander wash from GOP, German Light Products. Yeah, these coasters,
so cool.
They light up when your glass is on them. Very cool.
Yeah.
I feel like we should get some magenta and yellow colored drinks to mix.
Oh, mine's not working anymore. Shit. There we go. There it is.
Call tech support.
Right. They had now they've got the X4 Bar 20.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Which love it.
Great fixture.
Everyone loves it. They've got the new version. It's a something 10.
Yeah.
It's bigger lights.
Yeah.
But they have independent zoom.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was pretty sexy.
F something.
Yeah. And there's a 10 in there, and there's 10 lights, not a 20 lighter, but that was a sexy ass light.
Yeah. So there's the pixels are smaller, but you can do all kinds of cool zoom chases and whatnot. Well, just because there's 10 instead of 20 in the same bar.
They're bigger. It's not 20 of them. There's 10, but they're bigger lights.
Yeah, the 20s are smaller. Yes, you're right. Yes,
that was pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, you going to be speccing some of those coming up?
I would love to. I mean, it's funny. Your toolbox, you asked me the toolbox. I was a big Viper fan. Love the Viper. I just wish they'd make a Viper that is basically a Viper that's brighter. And I guess they said they did. Mm-hmm. I guess Martin has put. I think it's the 800, which is I guess like a Viper that's just stronger, more powerful. Yeah. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Seeing that. But yeah, I like the basic stuff. I mean, I think those LED. I'm not big on the pixelating lights.
Yeah,
and,
like the BIs and whatnot.
Well, and the BIs can do some wonderful things too, by the way. But I don't know. I personal preference. I know with EDM, all those individual pixelization things are wonderful.
Yeah.
You just have a DJ standing there, so you want to make people's eyes go crazy.
And there's not much talent to light, so to speak.
Right. And when you're probably on ecstasy, it's probably even better to see all those things going.
Sure, of course. And if you got a video wall, you can map it over to the lights.
Right. Yeah. But with rock and roll, for me at least, I don't want people's eyes going up, going, "Wow, that's cool," at the lights.
Yeah. Okay.
I want them to feel what's going on, and you want to give them some eye candy, but I kind of feel you should make and this is nothing new, obviously, but you should be directed to the artist.
Yeah, okay.
And it should be about the music still.
Sure.
And there's the old sound guy coming out, but
of course.
Yeah.
But you'd say that you're able to do that better. You can give the eye candy with like a gobo and some atmosphere.
Yeah. I mean, because if you're doing so much, and again, there's some great stuff out there. I just did on Godsmack, we had Hailstorm opening up.
Oh yeah.
And man, Craig Richter did some beautiful things and
Nice.
stuff. And what was cool about that for me was that show was completely different from our show. It was a show that I wouldn't probably do. But I loved it. He did
Yeah.
a great job, and it's great because then you have two different acts.
Yeah, of course.
But my personal preference is I don't need those LED lights that just can control the pixels. Now, you can do some beautiful things with the BIs. That's true. That's Butch Allen taught me.
Yeah.
But so I like your basic Aura or that new Maverick. Was it the MK2? It's probably not that new. So none of those. They have a lot of those there.
Yeah.
And I guess everyone's now trying to do a VL5 kind of knockoff.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but that seemed to be all the rage.
Is that with the like round lens?
Yeah, and they're like they're like
a
shutterish kind of. How do you say it? Like a blinds.
Yeah.
Almost.
Okay.
And I don't know. I guess people like that, so
sure,
good on them. I mean, if I get a chance to use it and I go, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, you never know, right?
I mean, I'll be honest. My one of my main things with new gear is Nook Schoenfeld, an old friend, and Nook's great. He's a great LD, but he's great with new gear.
Oh, okay.
So if I have a question, I'll just kind of go, hey, are these actually good, Nook? Would you use them?
Yeah. Give me the lowdown.
Right. He used to write the greatest reviews at PLSN. He's the editor now.
Oh, nice.
But he used to write. He doesn't do the reviews as much anymore. But I just love the way he would do them.
Yeah.
He'd be like you. He says, I open the box up, I plug it in, and this is what I see. And,
yeah.
I just love that.
That's cool.
But so yeah, for me, there's not a lot of the new lights I saw there. There's a lot of things that look good at LDI, but nothing.
You're like, I gotta have it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, most of my gotta haves are tried and true, like the X4 bar 20s. What a great light!
Great light, yeah.
And we both like Vipers. I think we both like ours. You like the points.
Oh, I love
Mega Points.
Mega Point is my light right now, man. Yeah.
I mean,
but it's like an old trick done really, really well.
Right.
It's like, hey, it does the beam thing and the spot thing, and it color mixes and
right. What more could you ask?
Make
for?
it smaller and brighter, and cheaper. That's,
right.
Because I think probably for the innovation side of things, that the whole industry is going down the LED thing. They're going to go all the way,
right?
And I'm hoping that when they get to the bottom, they'll be like, okay, we did that.
Right.
Now what else can we do?
Right.
Yeah.
There was a lot of video stuff there too, by the way.
Sure. Well, and the two worlds are becoming more entwined.
Right.
Yeah. The more
for better or for worse.
For better or for worse. Yes. For listeners who are curious, it was the GLP FR10.
FR10.
Yes.
Nicely done.
Yeah, I had someone try to swap those out for X4 bars on a tour I had out.
Oh, really?
But I was like, whoa, I haven't heard of this. What
Right.
is this? And I watched the videos like, this is cool. It's not going to work for a sub, but I really, really like it. So.
How many times with Godsmack especially, and Alice Cooper, there's so many shows where every day it's different gear.
Oh,
every day.
Dude, that Europe tour for us was every day.
And you're getting the advance and you're like, what the hell are these? And you look them up on YouTube to see if you can see a demo.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that'll look okay. And some of them you're like, I can't even find them on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think the worst sub I had this last tour was Mega Points is the writer. And, we abused them, like put them through their paces.
Right.
And they spec'd in like one of Martin's like club level beam fixtures.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, it doesn't even color mix. Like, and that maybe is not a big deal to some shows, but for this show, it was like I spent all day. How many days have you spent where you just spend the whole day fixing your clones to get
right? I always like the tip that whoever taught me this, I thank them. I always like going into the editing the profile, and making it snap.
Oh yeah,
so it doesn't do the slow color change.
That at least
it's like, God damn it.
It'll at least save it if you have an effect on.
Right.
But if I'm doing like a pale white to magenta color effect and I'm screwed. Yeah, if that's the gag for the song,
right, you're screwed. Yeah,
it happens, right?
Right.
You know who noticed in Amsterdam? Nobody.
Right.
Me. I was the only one stressing back there.
Yeah. You always laugh about that, though. It's like sometimes the crew would even say that. They'll go, hey, he wants to fix this. You know what? Let's fix it tomorrow. Trust me, if someone walks out noticing that, I've got much bigger problems that none of you guys are going to be able to solve.
That's true, yeah. I mean, it's hard to learn that, though, sometimes, like what stuff to let go.
Right.
Like, I really had to learn, like, what battles to pick, even with the crew,
even
just
myself, right?
With yourself, like, okay, look, if I'm going to spend 4 hours fixing that problem, what else gets neglected,
Right?
Or am I going to really make the PMs end sound check early so I can bring that truss down to fix that one light that no one cares about? You got to learn that stuff.
It's true.
When you come out, you're like, everything is wrong. Fix it every day, and it doesn't work.
That's so true. I know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's bad or good that people don't notice it. It's good that they don't notice the little things go wrong, but it's bad because you do some nice things and no one notices.
I mean, I think being a lighting guy it's inherently both. Like the guy that notices will be like, "Wow, I can't believe he paid attention." to that.
Right.
You know, but it could just be like a shadow that one photographer grabs because of that one light. You never know, like when that moment. You know,
but isn't it great when you get credit for that moment?
That's true.
I can only think of one time, and I'll name drop again. My friend Martin Brennan came to a show in the UK with Alice, and we did this one song, "Halo of Flies," where I really prided myself on this, and I knew no one gave a shit.
Yeah,
but I would do the 2 times. The one thing was doing like off speed, and I would hit it every time it hit it, but I would also do something else.
Oh, so
with the and I'm not a drummer. I don't know how drummers do 4 things with different.
Yeah.
But I was doing the actual thing, and no one notices or care.
Yeah.
And Martin after the show goes, "Man, I really dug on Halo of Flies when you were doing the 2-time things." I'm like, one person notices.
You never know how much you could have inspired someone to become a light guy,
or not,
yeah. Or someone's going to call you that that guy did the 2-time thing. You never know, right?
But usually it's like how it is. They'll come up to you like after the show, and you're like, you're breaking down front house, and there'll be someone who'll come up and goes, Was that like a 105 amber, or was that like a 22 amber? And you're like, dude, it was amber. Just go home, please.
Yeah.
It's not that important.
Yeah. So I happen to know that you also happen to be an author.
Ah, yes.
I can't help but ask, like, tell me about that.
I've actually been a writer for 20 some years. Almost 30 years. That's scary to not be published. But I write short stories and I write novels.
Yeah.
And I tend to like the darker side of things.
Yeah.
I do have a short story collection online.
Yes, was this
on Amazon?
The 14 shorts and other dirty laundry?
That's correct.
Yes.
And it's just a bunch of short stories. It's not music. It's not
touring related. It's
just a little bit of dark storytelling.
Nice. Do you have any favorites that you've written over the years?
Yeah. Well, I've got a new one that I'm working on, a new collection, and I'm finally going to put a novel out.
Yeah.
I've got a bunch of them buried, but
Sure.
Luckily I've got a really good critic that I happen to be married to, and she's really good at pushing me to do it better. So
Yeah,
it's great, 'cause we'll finish one and then she'll go, you're almost there.
Have you ever listened to or read Stephen King's On Writing?
No, I should. I have a few writing books, but yes.
Well, he has this whole bit about, every writer has their one test reader that they're writing to. And sometimes it's yourself, and for him, it's his wife. If my wife thinks it's good, it'll make it out of the writing room.
Right. So. That's great.
Yeah.
I do it. In fact, when people see me on tour at a Starbucks with my computer, that's what I'm doing.
Oh, nice.
That's my thing, and they tend to know that writing. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So if you like dark stories, please give it a check.
So when you say dark, are we talking? Is there any kind of like cosmic science fiction element here? Or are we talking like murder stories?
Murder stories.
Yeah. Nice. Mysteries or just
mysteries? Yeah. Mysteries and weird endings, and like where you didn't expect that to happen.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
I was my holy trinity was Ross McDonald, Dashiell Hammett, and Raymond Chandler. I love the old.
I'm not familiar.
The old pulp writers, if you will.
Okay. Yes. Sure. Like maybe some noir in there, that kind of thing.
Yes, a lot of noir.
Got it. Nice.
Big on noir. Yes.
Okay, well, I think this is going to bring us to a section of the show I like to call the Strobe round.
Excellent.
So I'm going to fire off a bunch of questions. Now, you can take it as long as you want to answer, because some of these might warrant longer answers. But some of them, if it's one word or you don't want to answer, just, we'll move on to the next one.
Okay.
All right. Favorite country to visit on tour?
Australia.
Okay. If you had a time machine that holds a semi's worth of modern gear and you could light one concert throughout history, what would it be?
One concert throughout history. Well, I thought of the Clash because I never saw them, but I would say the Beatles because come on.
Yeah, that'd be great. You could go back to one of those early crazy shows instead of like a bunch of pars on stands. You have like big truss.
Oh
stuff.
yeah, can you imagine that? You don't have to make the moving lights move.
No, they would be blown away.
Right.
Yeah. Favorite color?
Purple.
Nice. Star Trek or Star Wars?
Star Wars.
Do you have a favorite Star Wars character?
I would say I was going to go with Han Solo. And have you seen The Mandalorian, by the way?
Oh, man. Can we talk about The Mandalorian?
Yes.
Wow. What do you think?
I love it.
Oh, Baby Yoda?
I know. And I know they're saying it's not Baby Yoda.
It's the child.
But it's, right.
Yeah.
But they don't know the species of Yoda,
They don't.
so they call it Baby Yoda.
What else are we going to call it? We don't have the tools to express ourselves.
Exactly.
I think they've done a great job.
Me too.
John Favreau,
amazing.
I mean, that's the guy he's the
Iron
guy in
Man and
Swingers.
everything, yeah.
The guy
And Swingers,
He's
yeah.
got these big claws, and she's this little bitty bunny rep. It's that guy that they're talking to.
I know. Amazing.
It's amazing. I hope they keep it up. I mean, they are keeping it up, but I'm excited for the future of that show.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
Okay, so who would you pick for your favorite Star Wars character then?
I guess I'll have to go with Han Solo because he's just such a badass.
With a Baby Yoda sidebar.
With the Baby Yoda sidebar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Han Solo's incredible. Did you like the Solo movie?
I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was amazing. I thought it was okay. I was entertained. I was definitely entertained. I hated 1, 2, and 3 of Star Wars.
Oh, 1, 2, and 3 were rough. It was a dark time.
It was a very dark
time for the rebellion.
Right. And if you ask the hated character, it would definitely be Hayden Christensen as Anakin.
And I don't know how much he's to blame. I think that there are other people involved in making it bad, but whatever. We digress.
Yes.
Favorite designer you've been the director for?
Butch Allen.
And then conversely, can we say favorite director that you've had on a show you've designed?
I usually run my own shows.
So self-answer. That's okay.
Yeah. I don't want to say me.
No, I know. Yeah.
I'll put me in the top 5.
Sure.
How about that?
Sure. Favorite gobo? Do you have one?
That's a great one. That's a great question. I do like the little chippy things. They're like I don't even know what they call it. Pebbles, I think they call it.
Okay.
Because it's a great breakup gobo, but also if you can make it like when you zoom it out, and prism it and make it just a little bit, not sharp.
Yeah.
It's great for backdrops. And stuff.
I was just thinking maybe animation wheel behind it.
Right. You can do all kinds of. It looks like it's germinating.
Yeah,
which is at Red Rock, something like that. It's like,
perfect.
Yeah, people think you're a god, and you're like, this is like 101.
This
lighting
is the first thing you
101.
do. Put it on a cool fixture or surface, and then put a gobo.
Right.
in. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, you're sick in bed, and you can't make the tour. Who do you call to direct for you?
Great one. I have my buddy Mike Duncan that I call for a lot of things. God, there's so many good designers out there too. It's funny. I actually called Nook Schoenfeld to find someone for me.
Oh, okay.
And for Peter Frampton, because I had to leave and I need someone to fill in. And Nook goes, he called someone and that didn't work out. And then he goes, I call him back and he goes, I'll do it. And I'm like, just what?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Alex Gowron, I call Alex for things. God, I know I'm forgetting people. Shit. Well, I know Cosmo did filled in on. Again, these are people that I look up to.
Sure. Yeah.
Like when Cosmo filled in on the Hollywood Vampire, it's just like, can you send me your show film? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's so many good people out there.
Yeah, of course.
I know I'm skipping a lot of people. I mean, I don't even know how he's an NLD, but Chris Ruppel. Ruppel?
Ruppel's the man. Yeah,
he's amazing.
Hi, Ruppel. He listens to the show. He'll definitely hear that.
Oh, he's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, and I say I've never had him work with me as an LD.
Sure.
But he's my go-to.
Yeah, he's a great programmer too.
Oh my God, he's amazing. Him and Saxton.
Oh yeah,
they're amazing.
The two of them are next level.
Oh my God,
yeah.
I
was, it's really funny because
have him do a show.
On my way here, I was like, you know what? This might be the first guest who doesn't mention Saxton for this question because everyone always says Saxton.
He's become a great programmer.
Yeah. But you said it. You found it.
And Ruppel and Allie Blue. I don't know what's Allison Siegel. Allie Siegel.
Yeah.
I'd call her for something.
Sure.
I've called her a couple of times. And guys like Ruppel, I can't get them. I've once or twice I've reached out and they're busy, which is big surprise there.
Well, it happens. I think I
he's
saw him
amazing. Though I got to give him props if he's going to listen because that video.
Which video?
The video that I did, the Tatum Lynn thing.
Yeah.
It really was like last minute. I had no time. I mean, we really got stuff dumped on the floor, all the gear, and I was helping the crew set everything up and, fix it and troubleshoot it. It was just a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
And you had to get extra NPUs or VPUs, whatever they are. And, I hardly get any programming time.
Yeah.
So, but I'm bashing some stuff in, and I write Roop. I go, man, I got 100 of these panels.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to grab them in any way.
Yeah.
And I don't have time. I don't know how, except the individual.
Yeah.
And Roop was like, yeah, send me the show file. Yeah. I got a macro. Do it in 10 minutes.
Yeah, he sure does.
And he sends me back, and it's everything laid out perfectly.
Yeah.
And so I get to program with his layout. And I'm like, wait, I can grab stuff and I can do all kinds of really cool shit on the fly and put it in there. So when I do get to sit down, and so when we did sit down and all those things are in there,
they're
like, well, show us some of the stuff you've got. And I'm like, shit that I threw together in a few minutes because Rupel gave me the goddamn program.
There you go,
thing.
man. Yeah. Give you the tools.
Oh my God.
See, I'm really into the whole, like, there's a lot of guys in the industry who keep all their secrets and they're like, don't like to share. And I'm much more into the, like, help each other out.
Me too.
And clearly, I mean, that paid off for you, the two of you just then.
I love when people call me for help because I've gotten so much help from so many people.
Yeah.
None of us are doing anything that hasn't been done. I don't think.
There's only so many things that you can do.
Right.
Yeah.
And, I know a lot of people like to wipe their shows when they leave.
Yeah.
If someone wants to take my show and learn something from it, more power to them.
Sure.
Sure. They're not going to run it the way you run it.
Yeah, see, I agree with you, but I still wipe my show, so
Okay.
I haven't fully matured in that department
It's
yet.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter to me because I don't think people can run it the way you run yours,
Sure,
I run mine.
I think for me, it's more of a I have a bunch of macros and stuff.
Okay,
but,
fair enough.
But you're right. If they had them, maybe I should leave it. I don't know. We'll see.
Do you know any LDs that would take your show though?
I think I know some that aren't working. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I've come across people along the way who might, but then again, they're not working. So what does it matter? Right. Anybody who's worth hiring, you're right.
Right.
Also, it's a super light side move to help people out.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's dark. Dark side is all about that.
Definitely. Yeah. I had a period where I did so many fill-in gigs.
Yeah.
It was hard because you do all that research and all the music stuff just for one show or two shows, but I don't think you ever want to go in. If you can go in and just be the guy and just make them not know that their LD is missing,
gone. Yeah.
It's going to pay off in the long run. It really is.
Sure.
You don't want to steal someone's gig. Your karma quotient goes way down.
They definitely don't want to.
No, it's not a good thing. It's going to come out and bite your ass too.
Yeah.
Which is not the reason not to do it, but you do it. You don't do it because it's the right thing not to try to fuck someone over.
Sure.
But I do believe the karma will come back if you do fuck someone over.
Sure.
Brian Hartley's another good designer, by the way. I forgot Brian. He's the king of the big look.
Yeah.
Man,
where could we have seen his work?
Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Oh yeah, no, I know Brian. Yeah, actually, he's on
Kiss for years.
Yeah, he's on my
Lenny Kravitz for years. Yeah.
I saw his Trans-Siberian show a couple years ago, and I was like, "Hey man, I'll do this podcast. You want to? We just haven't linked up yet, so he's on my list."
Yeah. I'm sure there's other names I'm forgetting that I'm sure as soon as the mic goes off, I'll go, "Oh, there's blah because there's so many great LDs out there."
Of course, there are plenty. Yeah. Okay, so how about, I think you kind of touched on this, but favorite author?
Probably of the old guys, I would go with Raymond Chandler. Mm-hmm. He was back in the 20s and 30s. Currently, a guy named Timothy Hallinan.
Okay.
He writes, he's got 3 different series of stuff. He's got this Junior Bender series, which is, I recommend it to anyone that likes quality writing, funny writing, and great storytelling.
Okay.
Deep stuff. I mean, it's about Junior Bender is he's a thief, but he gets situations, and I don't want to call them cases, with other criminals.
Yeah, okay.
So I mean, he's not like this good guy or anything like this. He is a good guy, but it's just a great series.
Yeah, okay. Favorite color combination?
Well, I'm going to go with Congo and Amber.
That's a good one, Congo and Amber. Really good, like shadows. You get that dark.
Oh yeah.
Artist you would love to light someday.
Well, and this is going to be another name dropping, the Foo Fighters, but it'll probably never happen because it's Dan Hadley, who's a friend who does great work.
Sure.
So, but I always thought the Foos would be a great band to light.
Oh yeah, great rock and roll band.
So someone out there, don't poison Dan, but if you do, no, he's good.
Sure.
Rob Koenig, another great designer that I would call in a heartbeat. Well, I'd call him to ask for a gig, but if I had someone that I needed to fill in, Rob would be, Dan would, Rob would. See, all these names keep coming back.
Sure, nothing wrong with that. If you had to build a light rig using only one fixture model, what would it be?
Only one fixture. Was like only one spot or only one washer?
Only one fixture type. Yeah.
I would probably go with something like a Quantum or a Viper.
Yeah, Viper, yeah. I was guessing you might say that. If you could never use one color from the rainbow ever again, what color would you pick?
From the rainbow, okay.
Yeah, let's say of the 7, you know.
Right.
We're talking blue is cyan, if you will.
Right.
You know.
I'm going to go with, surprisingly enough, yellow.
Yellow. Okay. I think I think you're probably the first one to say that, and it's probably what I would pick too.
Okay.
But yellow's a very powerful color.
It is.
It's hard to be hard choice.
It is.
A lot of people say orange, and that hurts.
Oh, I love orange.
Wrap amber in there, you know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Favorite thing to see in the green room or front of house cooler from the hospitality writer?
Well, I always request my green juice.
Oh, okay. Like a
kale,
Odwalla or whatever.
Cold pressed.
Yeah. Okay,
yeah. So I'll go with that.
Sure. Okay. How about like favorite thing at catering?
You know,
Do you have like a guilty pleasure?
Besides chocolate chip cookies, you know, a good mac and cheese. Really,
nice.
You know, a good one. I mean, a really good one.
Like with like 5 kinds of cheeses in it?
Yeah, I mean, where it's like, oh my God, you're living for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. If you were a comic book character, which one would you be?
Ooh, that's a good one. There's so many good comics too. Wow, I'm gonna have to think about that one. I know I'd probably like to be Iron Man, but I know I never could.
I'm realizing that this question reveals a lot about people. Like,
right. I mean, if I said like Sue whatever from Fantastic Four, because I could disappear when I need to.
Sure,
that would be very handy on some gigs.
Yeah, no, I don't. The question is maybe not which one is you. Which one would you be? You know, you get to become one.
Wow.
But yeah, that's Sue from Fantastic Four.
That just came to my brain.
Sure.
You know, that's a great question. I don't know. It's funny. I never related myself to a comic book character.
Yeah,
it's funny. I'm trying to think if there's a good one out there that I think would be. Well, my wife says my superpower is sleeping, so I'm not sure. Narcolepsy man.
Narco man. Yeah.
Right.
I bet you mid sleep one of these days you'll wake up in the middle of it. I know the hero I would be. You'll call me up.
Right.
Favorite way to spend a long layover?
Eating sushi.
Oh, nice. Not writing.
No, well, I'll probably write after eating some sushi and drinking some
little sake.
Some sake.
Are you like an unfiltered guy or hot sake?
Totally
unfiltered.
I love the unfiltered. I'll go to the hot sake because I'm a social drinker.
Of course,
but I prefer the unfiltered.
You're going for when it's just you at the airport. It's Nagori, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah, nice. If you had to find a new career, what would it be?
Oh man, it would probably
let's say out of the industry,
right?
Because a lot of people will say like audio guy or what, you know.
Right. I'd have to say accounting because I love numbers.
Sure.
And I do have a finance degree, but I'd probably have shot myself in the face like 5 or 10 years into it. But yeah, I'd go accounting. I still like working on taxes.
Do you find that your accounting background has benefited your career?
No.
To be honest, not making a lot of numbers decisions.
Right. Kids out there, if you're going to college for something, it doesn't have to be what you do for your life.
That is very true. I went to school for guitar, which is pretty close.
But that is close. At least you can apply it.
Yeah. And I met the guys I worked for, for 10 years through that. But.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So backtracking a bit, do you, I guess, in tying into your last thing.
That was a good lightning. I like that.
Yeah, the strobe around there.
Yeah, strobe.
Yeah. What tips do you have for young guys? What do you wish you'd done different, and what would you recommend to guys in today's world?
Well, when people ask me the question of how to get in, I just say do it. I just say just do it.
Absolutely.
Now they've got schools and
sure.
stuff like that. But when I did it back when dirt was clean. When I did it, there weren't really schools as much, especially for lighting. And you just do it.
Well, the tech was a lot different.
Tech was a lot different. Yeah. Tech was a 4-letter word back then. Now it's not.
So you're Nikeing it. Let's just do it.
Just do it. Yeah. Honestly, just do it. You can learn a lot about it. You can now read books and go to classes and things like that. But I think you learn the most by experiencing it and just going out on the road and doing it. I mean, again, things are different now. Back then, there were lots of bands. And you could go on the road or go locally, and you and the band would learn. You'd go into all these places and find all these different situations, and then you'd be making, I always say I'm constantly making lemonade. Because you'd make the best out of it.
Oh, you got to, man. You got to.
But you learn so much.
I had a lot of gigs early on where it would be like, bar or club.
Oh, yeah.
Can't fit the truss. Like,
right.
What are you going to do? And then you have to build the rig a different way. And, oh man, my positions don't work. And then, halfway through the show, you come up with this like cool look.
Right.
You're like, oh man, I love that. I'm going to, and then it inspires, making lemonade.
Yeah. So I would just say that, the Nike thing, just do it.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, is there anything that you wish you had done different? Or that if you could go back and tell your younger self to do different, other than taking the Radiohead gig?
I wish it was. Actually, even then it wasn't offered. It was still Andy Watson was still doing it.
Andy, by the way, is my number one. I need a headhunter to get him on this show.
He's a talented guy. I mean, God, some of the Radiohead things I've seen. And I'm gonna take a side trip for a second.
Let's do it.
I mean, some of the Nine Inch Nails stuff is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw that David Byrne video.
Yeah.
That we're in the box kind of thing.
Yep.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
Yeah, totally different.
So there's some stuff out there that's just mind blowing.
But and this is important though. In both of those cases, Nine Inch Nails and David Byrne, you have an artist fully committed to having that.
True.
And you can't. There's an idiom there, but you can't squeeze that out of an artist that doesn't want to do it.
True. True. I'm sure I'm skipping some other really cool designs that I saw, but going back to the question, I would not be. I think one time or a couple of times I was too cocky.
Yeah.
And I might have been a dick to someone that probably down the line would have really helped me.
You mean like a local hand or a PM or?
Yeah, like a PM or something like that.
That's production manager for.
Sorry. Yeah. And I'm not. I've been in this 35 years, so I've had a lot of time to be a dick if I want to.
Yeah.
But I'd say early on I wasn't, but I definitely had my moments.
Sure.
Where I was cocky or
guilty of that as well.
Yeah, or I just I think early on you really try to prove to people I can do this and I'm good, and I think you're probably proving to yourself. But I'm sure early on I was too intense.
Yeah.
I would probably smoke a lot of pot when I was younger because I don't smoke.
Wait, so you're saying you wish you had?
I probably wish I had because I probably a lot more mellow.
Yeah, just let it go, let it slide a bit more.
Yeah, I was just too amped up, I think. Sure. I think that was the thing. I was too amped up. I was too looking to try to prove this, that, or the other thing. And, that's part of the youth. But I don't know if it's a regret because it makes you who you are.
Yeah, sure.
But, I would probably just try to be mellower. Not so bouncing off of walls.
A little more Jedi-like, if you will.
A little more Jedi-like.
Yeah, that's what I try to say. Yeah.
I was probably very Han Solo in my early age.
I think a lot of youth, that's kind of part of youth, right?
Right.
You gotta go get it. Go get your own,
Exactly. And again, I don't know. There's so many great idioms people have used for how to get into the business, but my big line is make every mistake, but just make it once.
Yeah. Learn from your mistakes.
Learn from your mistakes. Yeah.
Sure.
But if you don't make them, then you don't know what to do when something happens.
Yeah. Okay, so anything else we haven't touched on that you were aching to get out? Into the world?
It's funny. I've never done one of these. This has been a blast.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's some people that I've really respected that I haven't mentioned, but,
I don't have that many listeners. It's not like all the old school LDs out there are like, man, Joel didn't mention
That's so funny. I did so much for that son of a bitch.
I'm not on the podcast. Yeah.
Right.
Anybody you'd like to have here on the show? Recommended guests?
Oh, wow. That's a great question too. I bet, I bet people like Rob would be good. Rob Koenig and I bet and Dan Hadley, they'd be really good. Oh well, Nook Schoenfeld would be great to have on the show because, I mean, he's run the gamut. He was actually Dave Vidian would be good.
Right, I'm gonna have to reach out to all these guys.
Yeah, because Dave is like, he was one of the biggest names in lighting.
Yeah,
and then he left that and became really popular and really good at video.
Yeah,
and now he's TMing.
Yeah,
he's a tour manager.
Yeah,
he's our tour manager on the Hollywood Vampires.
Yeah.
So I mean, here's a guy that's had 3 separate full careers.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive in this business.
Sure. Moving around.
Yeah.
So, Joel, how can people get a hold of you if they want to know more?
Well, you can look me up on Facebook under my name, Joel Reiff, which is R-E-I-F like Frank, F like Frank. You'll notice I'm the one that has the picture of the leopard with me, and you'll see a big black and white horse behind all that because I'm a big horse guy.
Okay. Oh yeah, we're here on the beautiful ranch.
Farm.
Yeah. If it was light outside, I might ask for the tour, but
yes. You'd need boots. It's muddy out there.
Oh yes, so I did not bring boots.
Yes, but
Joel, thank you very much. This has been a great honor. Thank you to Chris Kanzi for making sure this happened.
Yeah, thank you, Luke. Thanks for coming over.
Yes,
and sitting down.
I'm sure we'll see each other on the road.
I hope so.
May the force be with you. Right,
and with you.
Yes. Thank you.